Hi, welcome back to my GOS Challenge mini-series. Today I'm featuring Tuesday, which is the day before my GOS Challenge begins, so we're keeping it nice and low FODMAP with these simple, delicious recipes. I hope you enjoy it. For breakfast I made my signature Choco Mocha Maca oats. I use 1/4 cup of dried oats, 1 teaspoon of ground flaxseed, 1 teaspoon of cacao powder, 1 teaspoon of maca powder, 1 teaspoon of instant coffee, I use decaffeinated, a sprinkle of cinnamon and top it off with 1 cup of almond milk. You need to stir this really well to incorporate the powders into the liquid. The best thing I've found to do this is a mini cappuccino whisk. You'll know when it's mixed properly as the powders that were sitting on top sink and blend into the liquid. This can take a few minutes of whisking, so be patient at this stage. I make mine in this resealable Kilner jar. I usually prepare it the night before and leave it in the fridge overnight. The oats do sink to the bottom of the jar, so give it a shake every now and then to help the liquid absorb. I've been struggling with my hay fever recently, so I added turmeric oil to mine. If you're new to turmeric, I suggest starting off with the powder as the essential oil is very potent. You can see here how much liquid has been absorbed and how much the oats have thickened overnight. This cuts down the cooking time to just a few minutes in the morning. If you'll be eating yours warm, give them a good shake or stir and pop them in a saucepan over medium heat for 3 to 5 minutes, stirring frequently. I use the second third of my banana left over from the day before. If you slice it really thinly, it virtually melts into the porridge, meaning that a little goes a long way. I have a very sweet tooth, so I added 1 tablespoon of maple syrup to balance the bitterness of the coffee and the cacao, but you may not need this depending on the sweetness of your banana. Add in the sliced banana after about 2 minutes, stirring and mashing it into the oats as it heats through. Cook for another minute or 2 until hot. Don't forget, you can always make double the amount to save for the following day. I top mine with chopped walnuts, and up to 10 walnut halves is considered low FODMAP. For an added crunch, I like to use raw cacao nibs. They give a pungent, bitter dark chocolate flavour and are packed full of antioxidants. Monash have rated the cacao powder as low FODMAP under 2 teaspoons, but the nibs are as yet untested. If you're in the elimination phase or haven't eaten cacao before, then it might be wise to give them a miss, as some people find them a stimulant. If you'll be making a double batch, you could add 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and eat it cold. Whiz it up with 1/3 of the frozen banana to create an iced coffee mocha smoothie, or change up the flavours by swapping banana for mandarin or peanut butter instead of cacao and walnuts. For dinner, I'd been dying to try the roast broccoli and grape salad from the FODMAP Friendly Vegans ebook. I used 1 head of broccoli and added 2 teaspoons of garlic oil. I sprinkled over 1 teaspoon of garam masala as evenly as possible to try and cover each floret. I added freshly ground coriander seed, salt and pepper. Now this is my favourite bit. I love playing with my food and getting my hands dirty. It's the best way to get all the marinade into every crevice. But if it freaks you out, you can use 2 spoons or put everything into a sealable food bag and massage it from the outside. Pop it in a single layer onto a baking tray and roast at 200 degrees Celsius, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 20 minutes, turning halfway through to prevent them from burning. For the dressing, I simply mix 4 tablespoons of coconut yogurt with 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast and 1 teaspoon of FODMAP friendly tikka curry powder. I combined 1 cup of the roasted broccoli with 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of massaged kale, half a cup of sliced black grapes, 1/4 cup of lentils, 1/4 cup of sliced cucumber, 4 sliced radish and 4 chopped cherry tomatoes. This left me with 1 cup of roasted broccoli to use later in the week in a GOS Challenge meal. It lasts several days in the fridge, so you can always roast it the night before to make a delicious filling dinner on the go. I'd keep the yoghurt dressing separate and combine it just before eating. I always try to balance out my time and effort in the kitchen, so because my breakfast and dinner were quite labour intensive, I kept tea super simple with a basic jacket potato and some leftover ratatouille. You can see the full ratatouille recipe in the Monday video of this GOS Challenge mini-series. It's basically several FODMAP friendly portions of veg with passata, herbs and spices. If you're familiar with my family FODMAP series, you'll know this is how I like to cook, with the main meals separated out into high and low FODMAP portions to suit the whole family. There isn't really much to say about a plain jacket potato and leftovers, except that usually I would add a smidge of vegan butter and a sprinkle of vegan cheese. Even though I know I'm able to tolerate these things, because this is the day before my GOS challenge, I wanted to keep things simple and as low FODMAP as possible. I finished the day off by prepping my tinned mushrooms for the following day. Half a cup of these, once well rinsed and drained, is considered low FODMAP. I know the idea of tinned mushrooms is off-putting to some people, but if prepared properly, they make a nice addition to the bulk and texture of certain meals, and they really help satisfy my craving for fresh mushrooms, which is an ingredient I really miss. Once they've been thoroughly rinsed and drained, lay them out on several layers of kitchen paper and squeeze out the excess moisture. They can be stored between kitchen paper for a day or two in the fridge if you change the paper daily. I usually fold the paper up with the mushrooms inside, pop it onto a side plate with another plate on top, and then put a weight on top of that, such as a carton of plant milk or my pestle and mortar. The next video in the series is the start of the 3-day GOS challenge, so make sure you hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss it. Let me know in the comments below if you're enjoying the recipes so far. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll speak to you soon.